After a little while away from Stanton, there's nothing that could draw me back quite so much as a good whiff of Drake New. And boy oh boy have they brought just that with not one, but two glorious examples of Drakeness. And as I, like so many others, await 318, whether it be for the beginnings of the cargo refactor and the expanded world that hopes to bring, or Persistence, and the start of a newer, lasting verse, or the salvage that Persistence aims to allow, even in its infancy stage of hull scraping. Just let me fly my vulture! A little bit of something to keep us going is a fresh balm. Citizens, my name's Beard of Oz, and today I'll be showing off the Drake Cutter, the best by far of all the starters. We'll go over its specs, its uses, and why if you're about to start out in the verse, this is the only starter you should consider. If you enjoy this sort of content, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do enjoy this video in particular, click that like button so the YouTube algo gods know what's up. Let's dive in. Unveiled and released at the Drake-sponsored IAE 2952, the Cutter is the long-awaited starter ship submission from the manufacturer of such citizen favourites as the Cutlass Black. Sporting a distinctly Drake form with the iconic twin VTOL-capable thrusters and an aggressively box-shaped fuselage, the Cutter ticks all the trademark requirements bar one, but more on that later. Creeping in under the shadow of the larger Corsair, the Cutter remained much of a mystery, being teased briefly in an IAE announcement video from CIG, and then being released straight to flyable and purchasable in one of the most appealing starter package deals on the first day of the 12-day event. Out of the gate, the Cutter can be purchased as a standalone or game package for those just starting out, and it's at quite the price point too. Coming in at $49.50 USD, $44 for the War Bond, or $66 USD for the starter pack, it's one of the better starter ships deals in my opinion. If you happen to be watching this while the IAE is still going on, you can snag this starter pack for $49.50, and it will also come with a bonus skin. Quite the deal, if you ask me. But what's it got under the hood? Surprisingly, the Cutter has a rather slim arrangement of components for a ship so large, packing a single small power plant, a single small cooler, a single small shield generator, and a single small quantum drive. It's clear that the Cutter hasn't been crafted to be a specialist flyer, but rather a jack of all. Even more surprisingly for a Drake vessel, even a starter, is its rather slim armament by Drake standards. Equipped with two size 2 gimbals on the chin, each sporting a size 1 laser repeater out of the box, the Cutter has less an emphasis on firepower and more a focus on versatility. It has a quantum fuel tank so large for a starter that you won't have to resort to an Atlas drive to make it from one side of Stanton to the other, and this thing will do it again before needing to refuel. It's quite clearly a vessel designed for long journeys. Pyro, anyone? But it's the interior that has me excited, intrigued, and downright curious. From the moment you open the ship, you are thrust into a world of salvaged, scrounged, and Spartan living. The Drake ramp, complete with hydraulics and quite clearly needing some oil, leads up to a hole that explains the sheer size of the vessel. It may only have 4 SCU for the trade goods, but it has a hole that can transport enough to keep a citizen going out in the frontier. Will it fit your mule? Yes. Yes, it will. Will it fit the bodies, salvage, from your latest mission? Yes. Yes, it will. You have easy access to the components in this space and, curiously, some additional spaces for something else. Storage for spares, perhaps? Time will tell. Beyond the hold, we have a hygiene space for those long stints on the edges of systems or somewhere in between. Take that, Cutlass. And behind the cockpit, a simple but convenient bunk for catching a little shut-eye and safely logging out in the black. A shared external closet will allow for transfer of items between players when it works, and beyond this door, the cockpit. Before that, however, a convenient rack for weapons. 2 pistol slots, great for medguns, a single rifle slot, and would you believe it, a slot for your favourite railgun. Thanks, Drake. The cockpit itself is standard Drake fare, with an ascending captain's chair, reasonable view, and conveniently positioned MFDs. So how does it perform? As mentioned, it's rather tame in the firepower department, with 2 size 1 repeaters on size 2 gimbals, and 4 size 1 missiles just for fun. It won't dish out a huge deal of damage, nor can its single size 1 shield withstand a lot of punishment, but the hull isn't paper thin, so you won't die immediately after losing shields. You can switch out the gimbals for 2 fixed size 2s, and while the damage boost is nice, you still gotta make your shots count. That being said, I wouldn't personally recommend the cutter for bounties in the medium to high risk brackets, and should you find yourself up against anything mildly combat oriented, there's no shame in getting out of dodge. It has the iconic Drake VTOL thrusters, which I put to good use anytime I'm taking off, or coming to land way too hot and need a good boost of counter momentum. And speaking of landing, be careful in the cutter. She's heavy, and if you make an approach a little on the far side, she'll slide in a way that would make a prospector proud. The VTOL makes for a good bit of pivot control in combat situations, so be sure to utilize it, especially in the black. So what's a small Drake ship with 4 SCU and mild combat capabilities good for? For me, it's the courier missions. While at the moment they may not be the biggest earners, they do allow for a bit of diversity in the verse. It's a nice bit of flying and walking and shooting if you take the higher tiered box missions. Check out this video for any info on that. And maybe it's just me, but that's my favourite part of Star Citizen, the seamless transition between those 2 game styles, and I think the cutter allows for that perfectly. Investigation missions, box missions, security missions. It's the perfect little runaround for all those things. And if you buy the yellow skin, you can basically roleplay as a Kovalex delivery van. It's a ship that fits nicely into the current collection of game loops and environments, but also hints at the convenience that's available for the content that is yet to come. I can see a group of pirates using cutters to scoop up the spoils of a successful ambush, or a trader ferrying small amounts of high-value commodities, maybe components in those spare racks, vast distances between systems like Stanton and Pyro. So why do I think it's the best starter? Well, for one, it's Drake, and hear me out. There's something supremely satisfying in starting out in a spaceship game in a rust bucket and slowly working your way towards something better, cleaner, less rusty. Having a ship that is too geared towards one play style can often lead players to miss certain game loops or styles, which isn't a bad thing later on, but can certainly be a detractor for someone who is new to the game. And the price. If you're of a mind to buy one ship with your game package and never spend another red cent on the project and use only in-game currency to expand your fleet, I truly think the cutter at its current price is too good to pass up. And there you have it, the Drake cutter. A sweet little starter fit to get you into the verse. What do you think? Is the cutter good enough to get you started or to add to your expanding fleet? Have you had a chance to try it during the IAE free fly? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and if you aren't already subscribed, be sure to do that now. If you're a Drake fan like myself, check out these other Drake videos here, and until next time, citizens, stay safe in the verse, and I'll catch you all next time.